I will, as you've already seen, be going over Lee Sedol game. I thought about going over one of the Jubango games. Not so much. Not so much. Not really sure how I'm gonna do game 3 yet. I'm kind of still looking for someone to go over that with. Unfortunately, people who I wanted to go over that with, unfortunately, aren't really interested. So I'm trying to find other people who have more interest in reviewing that particular game. So once I find that particular person, then I'll be doing game 3. Until then, there's already a lot of people, so, you know. Letdown? Game 3 is not a letdown because Lee Sedol didn't win it again. See, this way it actually stays a competitive series. If Lee Sedol just like all killed Gu Lee, that would have been a bit of a letdown. Hilarious, mind you, but a bit of a letdown. Anyway, let's get started with this game. This game is interesting. Not for Gu Lee, it wouldn't have been. But yeah, I thought this game was actually fairly interesting. I was looking today? Yeah. I was looking over the recent games that came out today just to verify if my pick was good or not, or if I needed to choose a different game, and I came across this one, which I hadn't originally intended, which is often the case. And I liked a lot of different elements that I saw in this game. I liked a lot of different elements. I remember liking a lot of different elements. And then I forgot what they were, so we're going to discover it together. Because right now, I'm honestly not entirely certain I remember why I picked this game. I remember that there was a large knight that was played, and that's a little bit unusual. We don't really see large knights typically nowadays. Large knights denote influence, and we're not really all about the influence these days, right? We're kind of anything but. Unless the influence is obtained through fighting. Then we can be all about influence. That's a good way to develop influence. But let's see what he does with this. White approaches as per normal. Black backs off. Decides not to pincer. That does not apply to Japanese style. That applies to Korean and Chinese style. Sorry. I don't study Japanese games probably as much as I should to really know what they're into most of the time. But alright, so yeah, white could find himself pincered here, which point we would see white either reapproaching or going to the corner. By backing off, we have a bit more interesting choices for white. He could back off and take himself a base. That is completely available to him. He could say, I do not want you to pincer me ever. I am going to take a move at A. Or he could say, I'm interested in your corner. Do you mind if I go in there instead? So, a lot of different options available to him. He decides to poke at corner. What are you going to do? Are you going to protect? Are you going to pincer? Are you going to play away? Black says, I'm going to play away. It's a little proby kind of move. Trying to get a feel for what white wants to do. If white wants to pincer here, okay, that's something. If white backs off, then we can develop it. So, alright, we have an either-or situation. What are you going to do, white? What are we going to get away with? White says, I'm going to back off. So, black has free reign to develop as he chooses. So he says, alright, great, I'm going to get the influence, because I've got the large knight on the bottom right-hand corner. We can do developments there. You backed off on the top. So I can do developments there. So everything going pretty well. And we would kind of expect this too. This is not anything unexpected to say, okay, if you really want the influence, I'm going to get you the influence because it's not worth a whole lot these days. It's kind of hard to use your influence. If this is a game you really want to play, go for it. Territory is all the rage. So okay, we've got that. But what is white going to do now? This is a big decision. What would you guys do now if you were white? You've made the decision to actively give your opponent a lot of influence. So what do we do from there? Invade, because influence is already too much, so says Nakajima. Mr. Monday says D10. What is D10? Ooh, D10, left side, lost the game. We'll go over that in a minute. FC says F3 or H17. Okay, so FC has some interesting ideas. F3, well, I'm not going to say F3. One potential possibility here is you could say, I spy me a ladder, I'm going to break it and get a free move. That's one thing that you could in fact do if you wanted to. F3, not a bad idea either. Top says, you know what? You've got influence facing two different places. I'm going to reduce the top one by attacking the stone, which so far has no base, the F17 stone. Good idea, good idea, good idea. D10, on the other hand, says, you can keep building, I'm gonna keep building. Oh, son of a motherfra... I clicked that stone, didn't I? Rip tree. Move 20. Who said that? Who... Was it really Mr. Monday that said the tree is going to die in 20 moves? No, Kigif said over 20, I'm confident. Sorry, Kigif. I betrayed you harshly. Oh, Mr. yeah, okay. So whatever. Whatever. Anyway, this says I mentioned developing only the left-hand side. So if you want to develop the top and the right-hand side, you can go ahead and do so. I'm going to develop this side, which doesn't really have very much in the way of good development because we've got like low stones and high, and it's kind of strange. We're kind of just trying to develop territory here. We're not really expanding. We're giving Sente away so our opponent could actually approach again and just keep trying to develop everything left of this, or everything right of this position. It'd be kind of bad. Alright, now in the real world, I thought I'd click the stone and I didn't. I was going to click here first and then show that variation, because this is White's actual move. I even commented that this was a good idea from FC. But alright. So we have that. But there's still danger here, which is what makes this game really interesting. Black could immediately respond, try to make F17 live, because we've got a lot of things we could do there. We could attach, or we can jump out. Jumping out is weird, but we could attach. We could make this live. But then even if he lives, he still has to worry about the ladder. So White might get the free move on the bottom, and might also get it... I'll try to break it one move later. I'm sorry there, Kigif. What was I saying? Right, so he might get a good position here as well as on the bottom, which could be an issue potentially. Black, however, says something much more interesting. He says, no ladder for you. This is an area I'm going to be building up. You cannot get a free move with ladder breaker. You cannot get that and the attack at the same time. What are you going to do now? White takes nice, solid point. He's playing very territorially. He's not overextending and trying to go into some weird framework. He's just picking his points. Both of your moves were very good. Congratulations, you are now pro. Black takes his expansion, but it's Gote. And we can kind of see why this sort of style of play is a little bit dangerous, right? Because it kind of feels, especially with White's next move, of even ensuring the top is harder to develop, that we're kind of betting this game on this sort of weird notion that we're putting everything into one area, and this is where all of our things are going to come from. That's very, very hard to play, that particular style. But okay, we can't just keep developing. Otherwise, white's gonna just keep developing as well. Now f5 to make horrible bunny shape. Well, it's black's turn. So black says, all right, we're gonna reduce. White's not gonna be able to get a framework here. I'm the one with the framework. So I'm gonna reduce high. Now, I have a question for y'all. What is the danger of trying to reduce high like this? What about base there, Hikaru Pro? What about base? Easy to undercut because not on third line. Comments from two different people, but they go together quite seamlessly. Congratulations on that one. You guys have great symmetry. Or synergy, rather. Yeah, but completely correct. Completely correct. Because it's going to be open on one side, as we can see here. I mean, are we going to just like drop down and respond to that? That's kind of weird. So we're probably not going to be settled here. So the reason why we are playing this, we are splitting, but we're also doing it high because, yeah, he's really going all in on the whole middle thing. Okay. So since we know our base is going to be undercut, he decides not to try to get one, and he immediately goes out. Interesting decision. We spy third line stones. We can lean on them and we can do jumpy things and build up more influence, so we can kind of see what his deal is here. I mean, what's white gonna do? Is white gonna attach to this? So black can Hane and build the wall that he wants? No, 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 no. He's not going to do that. Is he going to jump out past? No, probably not, because that's probably just gonna get cut off. So alright, this move probably not gonna get responded to, because responding locally feels really, really weird. And potentially deadly in terms of how much our opponent can get if we respond to this. Because we all know what he's doing. Influence. So we're not attaching to this. Otherwise, he gets more. Cool. There is a streaming version of this lecture that is currently on my stream, and it will be on YouTube later. So that is not a stream, it is a recording. Alright, so white doesn't want to respond locally. He wants to reduce. So where he is going to go is where? Where would he go? If you were to reduce this as white, what would you do? Where would you look? Nakajima says P5. Okay. That seems like a forcing move. Flip the board, and Lee Sedol might get offended. After he thanks you for the win, he might get offended. 05. Yep, that's the one I was looking for. Essentially a couple of different options here. You can cap the third line stone. Always, always an option. Even if you were wondering about how to like reduce this on a small night, you can, same thing. Capping the third line stone, very much a possibility here. And also what we see. He says, I'm going to cap your third line stone. Textbook reduction. Complete and utter textbook reduction. So, what do we do now? Well, we have to respond. Because if we do nothing, it is behind enemy lines, but it's going to be Sente. Because allowing your opponent to attach a little bit severe. So this is going to at least get a response out of him. The question is, how is he going to respond? Black responds, oddly enough, by solidifying his corner. Making, what is it, the P3 one not work so well. N3 on the other hand, I'm honestly not entirely certain about all of the variations at N3. As Nakashima's pointing out, though, it does eliminate a couple of probes, so I don't know. Usually I would expect to see this if I was going to do that one. These two are the more common ways to respond. The idea being that you want to strengthen your the stone that's under attack, the one that's kind of being capped and leaned on. But let's see what he wants to do with this. White says, I'm out. That's what I'm doing with that one. I am leaving. I have left. We are gone. Slight danger here. We are still behind enemy lines. Yes. He is still behind, but he's a little bit harder to kill now. But the fact that he is behind is something very, very good to pick up on immediately there, Mr. Monday. Because Black goes back and strengthens his one stone first. Just gonna go back and live. If White wants to spend more moves trying to help that stone, while... Okay, that was wrong. More moves to help that stone while we're going off and invading and reducing and things, go for it. Have at it, good sir. Have at it. Alright, so life in corner. Gote. White applies pressure. Alright. Black says, well, I guess this is my move now. You're still behind enemy lines. You're trying to attack my middle stone. So it's probably time to actually attack the center bit, because we can see why. It's helping our left stones, and it's putting pressure on the right stone. It's doing two things at once, and anytime you're doing that, chances are good things have befallen you. But White is pro. He is not going to roll over and die just because someone is attacking him. Isn't that too direct an attack? While... Well, what would you suggest instead? Because we don't really have... You try L15 first. That would be ignored. That group is fine as is. Right? The two-space extension. Probably can't disconnect it with F17, so you'd probably play there, and White would play the defensive move in the center. Or it might cap your two stones. Is J16 Sente? Ooh, that. Yeah, okay. J16 is probably Sente. Yeah, White wouldn't want that cut through. Doesn't really grant a whole lot there, though. But it probably is Sente. White counters by leaning on Blackstone. We're not going to lean on the stone attacking us because that makes it stronger. We're going to lean on a stone that's already pretty strong because why not? We lose nothing. It makes us stronger and we are happier as a result. So Black connects. White tries to disconnect. Black threatens to gobble gobble, forcing a solid connection by White. Now here's where things get interesting. Because things already got a little bit interesting with the whole left-hand bit. How we're trying to use those two stones, just those little itty-bitty two stones over there, to develop the middle. And how we approached high, didn't try to get a base, didn't even bother, just after that center bit. The other part of how this is interesting is actually coming up very shortly. Because we see this, White's responding, doesn't want to get the Hane, that's bad. But unfortunately, look at this shape that's been created. We have a small knight here, which, as we know, small knights can be cut. We have a 2-space extension here, and that happy shape. Not exactly the strongest shapes in the world, and they're kind of all coming together in this one area. So, of course, we're going to poke at them and see what happens. White says, I must remain connected. Black says, go for it. Forcing, again, white to connect on up. But white gets sent to turn. Alright. It looks like this isn't going badly for white right now. The 2 stones on the left are sort of in this position where they might get cut off. Yeah, those D9 stones are slowly weakening as a result of this. So surely, Black's next move is going to be to defend them. Well, no. B's next move is to make certain that he's profiting, because he chose this attack, and he has profit that he can get in from it. If he just goes and defends himself in Gote, and allows white to further connect up all of his stones, then he's obtained nothing from this attack. And the question then would rise, why did we even do it? So alright, we're getting our profit. We have secured profit from this engagement. White pressures. And this next sequence of moves illustrates something that a lot of, let's say, weaker players kind of get lost in. It's this idea that there's something important on the board, and we are going to respond to this something important on the board no matter what else is going on. So here, Black has to not die. That's a pretty straightforward goal, right? And we can see this area. The only stones in there are those 2. It's all going to get swallowed up if this group dies. So that's entirely too much. We're never going to make any trade that could possibly compensate for all of that territory that's potentially going to him if that dies. So our only mission in life is to not get killed. That's all we have to do. That's it. That's all. So we must not die. And while Black's busy trying not to die, White's reducing. And here's where a lot of weaker players would be like, but no, I'm going to play here because this area is mine. And I don't want you reducing this area that I've taken for myself. At that point, you'd be resigning in about 4 or 5 moves because the left would get swallowed and you'd be killed. So, okay. Black says, nope, no, I need to live here. And White says, okay, I'm going to reduce you. Maybe connect up my stone. Come on, man. Gotta respond. And Black says, no, I need to not die right now. To which White says, dude, I'm connecting up like all of my stones. This is sick. Respond to me now because this is getting out of control. Now he gets a response. Can't let him just take away all of the things that he got from fighting on the right hand, on the bottom. He does respond to that one. Which point, White goes back and also responds. Cut point, right? Cut point. Okay, that's good. And White is now threatening to link up, so Black says, no, you can't link up. We have a really weird situation here. I mean, it's not every game that you just see like 4 diagonals in a row. It's kind of crazy. Almost 5 in a row. Almost 5 in a row. If he drops and plays the Hane at B7, then we have 5 in a row. That's true. But no, what white wants to do is he's trying to get his profit as well. So he plays the cut. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, we can see this, right? I think everyone can see that with this last move that was played. A move here is insane, right? That's just gonna cut off, at which point white has to live tiny with this group, but it's not just gonna end there. If the group lives, and it probably will, it then reactivates this stone. So now the top group has to live. So if we're not careful, we lose the game just like flat out, because we're gonna be way too busy trying to make, you know, all of these different groups live, and we're not gonna get territory. We're gonna be like on the 3rd and 2nd line making eyes, and ugh. We'll never be able to attack black ever again. So we can see where this cut's coming from. It's not just mindlessly cutting a cut point. It's, holy Christ, if I get disconnected here, I lose the entire game. So we've got to cut. But black is absolutely happy to see that. Black doesn't mind looking at this, like, dude, I get a free Atari? This is so cool. I can get shape from this and everything. So here he goes, going for his shapes. Going for his shapes. Ataring everything like a little noob, but that's fine. That's completely okay. He's reducing and making himself stronger while he does it. And continuing to push. With the strangest shape imaginable. I mean, what do we have here? We've got weirdo cut points that aren't protected. We've got diagonals that are unusual. And Tetris shapes. I mean, this is not the best shapes in the world, but it's large enough, I guess, that it's okay. So white's now in panic mode. He's keeping his territory. Black finally defends himself. And now I'm a little nervous because I realize this game is ending soon. And I didn't plan for a second game. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. White pushes. Black responds, nice and strong. White connects. I was like, okay, I'll connect up that too. I'll play here first because it's Entei. And then I'm just going to play here for my territory. White defends in the craziest way imaginable. The way that we all learned when we were 10Q and been playing ever since, or at least until you hit 5Q and realized, oh my god, people can poke at this really, really easily. But alright, he's defending. He's also threatening to cut though, which is why it makes it a little bit better. So okay, reasonable move, but black is now nice and strong. G12 did not work, he says. Does it not work? I think it works now. Oh, yeah. I said black defense. Oh, okay, yeah, I missed Mr. Monday's comment. I see. Yeah. I see. Okay, I gets it. I'm blind. I can't tell my colors apart. Black and white, you all know that by now. And sometimes I can't even read the chat. So there you go. All I can do really, really well is count to 2. And that's really about it. Which is why I'm a Don. Sweet. Alright, so whose move is it? White's? Okay, White's trying to get some territory. Black has a plan. We're going to reduce and strengthen ourselves. And if you Hane, we're going to make you feel really, really bad about yourself by cutting you off and dying. right? We have no choice but to kill these stones off, because if we do this, then what do we do now? We have to Atari, right? And the Ataris, and the Ataris, and we're cut off. So, alright, we're cut off regardless. But at least this way, we're connected up and we have Sente. So, white can decide what to do. And white says, I'm going to poke and reduce this. I don't care if you cut me off. It's all going down. I mean, I've got my 2-space extension. I've got my small knights. I am impervious to your attacks, sir. Good day. So what do you think black should do here? What do you think black should do here? Okay, no surprise from Robert. He wants to kill things. Uh-oh, Nakajima says kill as well. It looks like people are actually noticing the problem with white's position. Okay, smacking white in the face. Probably. Wait, what? That'd be bad. But yeah, problem here is maybe white has one eye in Gote at the moment. It looks like might have an eye in Gote, because this clearly isn't. We made sure of that. So where are all the other eyes coming from? This is a really huge weak group. Now, trouble is, if we play this immediately, the push kind of sucks. We can't hold on to poking that eye out. So we need a little bit of extra strength here, which, okay. Black takes for himself. And takes for himself before defending. Now we're kind of getting in a position where we might be able to actually do something about that. We might be able to poke there if necessary. But what about the other shapes? Well, for that, black pokes. Was G4 necessary? Well, if you don't do G4, you're inviting further reduction, right? I mean, things like this are going to be Sente to further ensure that you're disconnected from all of the things. Well, if you allow your opponent to get even stronger in Sente, then you're probably going to die in the center, and regardless. Alright, so he has this. White moves to strengthen himself. Black responds nice and strong. Connects on up. Says, thank you, I know how to disconnect a 2-space extension. And top stones, not looking so healthy. White tries to fight. Responds nice and strong, no Hanes, not leaving Aji behind. Threatening to go through. Again, nice and strong response, not leaving much Aji behind. Looking for all the Aji everywhere. And I love this response. Because like I said, I am a down level player because I can count to 2. And Lee Sedol is a down level player because he can count to 2 as well. Small fact. So he says, screw that noise. You've got 2 weak groups on the board, not just one. So live with both of them simultaneously. I dare ya. Okay, that's a pretty large order. Continues with the top one. So black says, what about this one? It looks like you can't do both at once, because now that's dead. Threatens to cut through. unfortunately goes nowhere, because this cut doesn't actually cut anything off. Can't really play p12, unfortunately for him. Still connected with m9. What is m9? Oh, the ko. Okay. True. You could try to ko to connect the that's a little bit unlikely until the other one's alive, though. Otherwise, that'd be the weirdest ko in the world. Alright, so we're getting our eye shapes. Still trying to get our eye shapes. Still trying to get our eye shapes. Definitely a large local threat. Now we've gone to ko. White takes. Black takes. Because what is he going to do? How is he going to connect that up? The middle lived, it looks like. Or the top lived, rather. White threatens to take and connect stones. Black strengthens himself in the middle. As a result, because everything is disconnected, now there's nothing to work against, nothing to lean against, nothing to poke at. We definitely can poke at K6 now, so that's probably not going to be an eye unless you play it right now in Gote, and if you do, where are the other eyes coming from? You're just not going to be there, right? It's just going to ensure there's nothing else available to you. So the only thing White can possibly do right now is resign, and he does. So I really like games like this where we see two weak groups and one person doesn't just poke at one until it's alive and then poke at the other until it's alive, like a lot of amateur players do. There were two things that needed defense. One player defended one, so the other player poked at the other. And that makes things really hard to manage because you can't just keep flipping back and forth trying to defend them both at the same time. That doesn't work because you cannot play two moves at once. So sorry. Unless they turn their head, and then you might be able to. But don't try it, they'll probably know. Might be able to try against an amateur player. No, don't try to get away with playing two moves at once, is what I'm saying, okay? Not good. Not good. Let's see. What else? Oh, right. And I liked how he handled the left-hand side. True, KJS won't let you do it. But technically, if you're playing face-to-face and you created a distraction of some side, then, you know, they turn their head, you might be able to get away with it. Which is what you shouldn't do. Just saying. So I am absolutely in no way recommending that you try to distract the person that you're playing at a Go club with your wife or girlfriend walking anywhere near the vicinity of the Go board you're playing on. That is what I'm not recommending you do. Is there no way for White to make two eyes or connect to D7? Let's see, D7 is over there? No. Yes, and they should definitely not be wearing revealing clothes while they're not distracting your opponent and allowing you to play two moves at once. Because you see, here's how would you try and connect that up? Because you can't just do a one space extension, right? That doesn't work. That's not quite getting you there. So a two space, but that's not connected on either side. I mean, it's not. You don't have a solid connection here, don't have a solid connection there. That doesn't work. You can go for a three space, but now you're really not connected to anything, not even this or the other. You can jump from here, but you can't connect that either. So yeah, there's no connection here. Most unfortunate. Let's see, what else do we have? What we better have is another game, because holy crap, this did not take long at all to go through. Alright, what was my backup game? Let me see if I can find that up real quick. Because I always come prepared with 2 games. What was the one I wanted to go over? Did I want to go over Keji's game? No, not Keji's game, that one sucked. Kongji's game? Kongji played an interesting game. But unfortunately that one wasn't too great either. Are you going to do Honeyba? I might, now that you mentioned it. Is that good? I guess Iyama's been doing very, very well. I can honestly say I've never seen a single game by the other person, though. Is that bad? I've been reviewing pro games. You should have a good idea on what to do. Alright, I think this game is the one I was going to go over. Is this too complicated? Those of you who've been paying attention to my game reviews probably know that Keiji has been on a bit of a winning streak. Last time I reviewed one of his games, he had like, what, 12 wins? 12 wins straight? Unfortunately, he did incur his first loss in quite a while, but that wasn't until he won another game, which was kind of nice. I was thinking about going over that one. I could go over this one instead, though. But this one had the Ko. I didn't want to go over it because of Ko's. This one just like goes to Ko over and over and over again. And you know how much I hate Ko, so we're not going to do that one. I am at a bit of a loss. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was completely wrong. He had 2 more wins before he got his first loss. Alright, let's go over this game. I'm going to close board and open up another one. I am going over a Keiji game, one that he won, and it was very, very similar to this one. I did not do the third Lee Sedol game because I'm looking for a co-caster for it, because I think that might be interesting to do. Unfortunately, the 2 people who have been interested in trying to do that with me so far have not really been that interested in doing so. So I am still looking for someone else to join me for that. Anyway, opening up on the board. Alright, I might want to fix this. Board, there we go. Ask Trump. That's funny. I feel so bad for that guy. He did not have a very good Go experience. I don't think he's touched Go since then either. But whatever. Let's do this game real quick. Let's see, rules set. Let's do Keiji versus. So everybody should know who Black is. I've mentioned him many, many times. For those of you who do not, for some reason, know who this player is, he's how to describe him? He's unfortunate. He's unfortunate. Because 2 of his friends are Lee and Kongji. Right? Both of those players are regarded as like top players in their country. This guy has shown games every bit as good as theirs, but not really consistently enough to be like the top player in his country. He's like not one of the top 3 that you think of when you think of, you know, top Chinese players. So he's really, really good. He's shown really, really good games, but there's just something missing that he's not gotten that 9 dan yet. So whenever I look at his game, I'm like, I hope that finally he makes it and gets 9 dan, because he should have it. But he just doesn't. I mean, even Kong Ji has one, and he's crazy. He's the player who was known for making an amateur dan mistake in every one of his friggin' games. But he even got past that and became like the top player in his country. So it's like, why can't you? Okay, story over. Though needless to say, he is pretty good. He is pretty good. Unfortunately, Kongji is becoming, or not Kongji, Keji is also becoming really, really good. I mean, he's crazy. Not move 5, Nakajima. Okay, we're deliberately placing this carefully. Oh, you horrible people, betting on when a tree's gonna end. But alright, same as last time, we do have a large knight here. Same as last time, we have the approach. And same as last time, we even have backing off, to which, once again, we decide to go into the corner, leaving all of them options up for black. What are you going to do? Are you going to approach? If so, what? The 4-4, the 3-4, you're going to pincer? Where are you going to approach? Or when you're going to pincer, is it going to be low? Is it going to be 1 space, 2 space, 10 spaces away? Where is it going to be? And black plays the high, which I'm not overly familiar with, to be honest. I'm not entirely certain what black is going for here, in this case, when I see this on the board. When I see this, I think, okay, yeah, okay, right, he wants me to do, and then we're going to go and to get this, and then maybe he's going to play here, and then I'm going to play something like that, and we're going to continue onwards. Alright. I understand that one. If he plays here, I get what they're looking for. Whoa. If he gets there, I get what he's looking for. If he... yeah. But this, we don't usually see this very often. So this is a little unusual. White jumps out. Alright. Not the corner. Just gonna jump. Black kicks. Now we are leaning. In and of itself, the idea of the high pincer might have a better relationship with 4R? What? Oh, with that. Oh, I guess you're talking in terms of the extension? So, I mean, they're a little bit overextended no matter if you're doing high or low. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. White has played there, so black plays Hane. We are giving up our stone in exchange for a wall. So we can keep building up all the things. Alright, so it looks like his strategy is straightforward. He's got a wall, which he is using with the large knight. Couldn't black just play R13 and be happy? What is R13? R13's on the board. He did play R13, and I imagine he was quite happy. Oh, R13 okay, that makes more sense. I don't know about that one. Because now you're getting into this variation. I got... maybe if it was the small knight, I might say that would be a cool idea. But the large knight kind of implies you're interested in a little bit of influence, maybe? So being undercut, inviting being undercut, might not be too cool of an idea. is how I feel about that offhand. But alright, got ourselves some influence. White doesn't want to be surrounded, it looks like. Here's where everyone is going to have this... They have someone in their head that's told them not to do this, and you're going to hear it echoing the minute I show you this move. Black plays away. And instantly in your head, you're hearing someone tell you not to let your opponent hane at the head of 2 and 3 stones. So there's that. And it's here as well. Because this is strange to allow. Especially since he allowed it. So he could take that. This is getting weird. He's like, so he has a large knight, he pincered high, and by move 25, still haven't messed up the tree there, thank you very much. He's turning it into territory. So what? I mean, I guess that's 6. That's a lot, right? 6 line. That's a lot. We have to do something about 6. We can't allow 6 line, can we? Kaji says, no, I am not going to allow you to develop 6 line territory. I'm going to reduce you. Black defends his corner nice and strong, but does allow white to escape. But that is fine. We can attack this later. For now, black decides to approach high and play a variation that we haven't seen in forever, but I love that he tried to play it anyway. White says, I'm just going to take my territory and then just connect up my stones. But black says, I'm going to make a wall here, which has kind of fallen severely out of fashion. Because we don't extend up anymore. For those of you who think, oh my god, yeah, avalanche, woohoo! No, we don't ever see that ever. It just doesn't happen. Nowadays, we just see the descent. And if you try and do anything like this, you wind up getting clamped. At which point, problems. Big problems. Because white's not going to die in the corner, and now white's not dying on the right-hand side either. So what is this elongated Tetris shape even doing for us? And the answer is we don't know. We have no idea what that's doing. It's doing jack, is what it's doing. So one of the reasons why we don't see this descent anymore is because this is a really strong variation for white. Gets territory, gets to destroy the influence that your wall is directly facing. And yeah. So it's hard to play, hard to play. So black launches into an attack immediately. Because he's aggressive, despite he's not making 8 down, or not making 9 down. It's not because he's been a passive player. He does provoke, can't talk at all. He does provoke those fights. There we go. White says, I'm just going to attack your 3 stones, if that's okay with you. Black says, that's completely fine with me, because I'm going to surround your 2 stones, and now you're going to die. What do you think? 2 stones dead or alive? Can we live with them? Did we done goof? Pros never die. Mo boy, you weren't here for last game. Apparently. Because we had a lot of death in that game. Unless it's with half of the board. Okay, that one makes more sense. So we're going to live. And white says we're going to begin living with this. Black says you're not taking my corner. Now what? It's like, now I'm going to kill your stone. It's like, no. I'm connecting. So just no. Okay? And I'm going to contact, and maybe we can get ourselves some shapes this way. Like, okay, that sounds reasonable. Now you might have an eye. That's what they all say. That's very true. White leans, threatening to kill off the 2 stones, so black has to connect up. Can poke at this little shape here. We're threatening to escape. We're threatening to go right. We're threatening to do a lot of different things. So you can kind of see why they're saying that, you know, pros never die. Because they find really good ways to get shape. Which is what we're seeing here. He's just pulling shape out of wherever it came from. I will leave where to your imagination. Black says, forget this. I'm going to go back and defend myself because I can't kill you. I made territory on the right-hand side, but I can't kill you. So we're going to make certain that you can't kill us either. Otherwise, that would be embarrassing. When you're attacking something, and what you're attacking kills the group that was attacking it, you know you did something really, really bad. So okay, we're getting strong here. That happens to me a lot. That's bad. That's not good. Alright, so white's picking up his eyeballs. He has eyeballies all over the place. No more killing of white. No more killing of white. However, we have surrounded him. We forced him to live in what might be Gote. So we're still okay with this. So time to move on. We're going to approach. Right now, the only territory white has is the lower left-hand corner. Everything is going splendidly thus far. Black says I'm approaching, and white says I'm pincering because I can grow this area pretty well. Black says I'm going to jump out, my most hated Joseki ever. And yet, one that was very, very popular back in the 90s apparently. Lee Cheng-ho, as I mentioned, played it a lot more than I remembered him playing it. So now I don't know what to feel about this Joseki. I just don't like it. We're giving a lot of territory away for influence that we had better be able to use. Otherwise, we just gave away territory for what? So okay, he has the wall, true, but he also got the Hane at the head of the 2 stones, which is kind of still a problem. Yes, Bat likes cash, which is why he charges for lessons. Oh, I insulted myself. Alright. So yeah. It kind of feels like it's weird here. If that triangled stone was a black stone, I would understand it a little bit more. But here, I kind of feel like a risk is being taken. So let's see how this occurs. White says I'm not going to run that out right now. I can count to 2. I see 2 stones. I can Hane. What are you going to do? Black says I'm going to take my profit and hope I don't get killed when you Hane and crush me. So alright. This group is now being cut off as a result. And we can see why he did it, right? If we got involved into this fight right now, I mean, imagine that stone being strong and living, and then white being able to go back and also live on the left-hand side. He got to reduce and pick up territory. A prime example of once again asking, why are we playing D11? It's so hard to use it effectively. So he's like, all right, I got my profit from this. Tree's still fine, by the way. Haters. So now what are you gonna do? Well, it's time to make shape. So alright, we're making shape. Really disgustingly compact, small, ugly, evil shape. But we're making shape, so we must be doing good things. But that's the problem in Go games, you know? I mean, this is making shape and living, and this is kind of strong now. I mean, what else do we do? Do we go after these 2 stones? It's kind of small. I guess we could go and cut this kind of stuff up. Could do. White decides to play here first. I don't know. I'm not sure if I would have considered Q18. Way too often, I mean, you just think R17 follow-up. Just take the 3-3. But this one's kind of nice with that wall there. Because you're threatening the small knight. It's kind of cool. Black has to defend. No sense saving that stone. If you save it, you're giving up P18 as well. So we're just going to extend instead. Force a defense. Why no BR17? That is a very good question. If we try to disconnect this, and try and disconnect this, and try and disconnect, we are disconnected. There's nothing we can do. Right? I think this is dead. Because the problem is that small knight. Small knights can be cut even in here. All this had to do is get liberties. Because that R17 stuff is losing its liberties while it's trying to keep them disconnected. So cannot win that fight. White can. So we're poking around. Defending our corners, making sure we're not surrounded, all that good stuff. Poke, poke, poke. Looks like all the large points are taken. Only thing that's left on the board is reduction in the corner. That's mostly endgamey stuff. Fighting whatever weak groups are available, and center bits and pieces, which is one and the same. Weak groups are in the center. So it's time to try and not click. Oh, you're not clicking. There we go. I almost messed that one up. So what we're going to do now is help ourselves. Make sure that our group's not going to fall under attack. Though it still hurts me every time I look up and I see those 3 stones. That is Hane at head. It's like, Proverbs, Proverbs, don't do that. But that cut might be a thing later, which is kind of interesting. If he's strong enough to do so, M14 could be a thing. So alright, what do we have here? We had that, right. We have the Atari, black gets to back off. White tries to keep this connection. Probes cutting point. Simple Hane makes certain that's not going to happen. And then we get to keep pressure on it. We get to see what white is doing. Clearly, he's got a weak group that he's attacking, but he's also got this stuff that's also pretty sexy and can be taken away. So we're doing 2 things at once, which means we are doing good things. Black leans. White says, please sir, can I have some more? Ah, my cursor is going crazy again. There we go. Hate that bug. Black does not back off. He instead plays the Hane. He's not going to just defend, he's going to try to swallow all the things. And now we have an interesting move. White does have no territory, that's true. White has very, very little territory. Which is why the attack is going to be very important. So here we have black backing off, nice and strong, not going to play the Hane. White goes ahead and plays the cut, which black defends immediately. So the question is, who's going to come out better in this battle? Because you can't just give up this stone. Who's going to come off better in this one? Because we can see the weaknesses plain as day. These have been weak for a while now. But, I don't know. There's a lot to try to run to. We have to see, we have to see. But Kaji is more aggressive than that. He's going to try to kill the right-hand side first, which is why we saw L16, because this M14 stuff doesn't work right now for white. Or for black, sorry, right? So we've forced a defense, which is very, very aggressive. He's trying to kill even the reduction. Keji's going for blood. Okay, you have an eye. Have one eye. Need to capture those 4 stones in the center though. Might be able to do. Got some pretty strong stones in the area. But what about this group? This group is starting to live now too. There's quite a bit of Aji there. So black says no, no further. But white says, well, what if I just connect there? That's a connection unless it's blocked. But you can't block it. So this area is going to live. You can't poke out all the eyes. He's threatening like 3 at once. So this large area that was supposed to be compensation, nice area for black, is now been invaded and reduced quite massively too. Black pokes. Goes into some endgamey stuff. White responds by ensuring this area turns into nothing at all. Black goes back on the defensive, trying to take out his weak points. But by now, no, kind of passive a little bit there, I suppose. But you can't let white cut. That'd be way too much. Black threatens to poke. Time for white to ensure he's not dead. Black keeps trying to kill. What do you think? Does C2 3 work? Is it a thing black can play right now? What do you think? C3 work? Nakajima says no. Anyone think it does? Does the cut at C3 work from black? And if so, why or why not? No, because B4. Indeed. Indeed, not quite yet, not quite yet. The dream is to cut and kill all of that. Does not look like that's going to happen so far. Black connects. Now we're getting into some... Wait, I almost missed. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. That goes there. We're being really careful about the treatise to spite all of you. White throws in, trying to reduce. Good endgame, good endgame. Same here. Forcing responses. Protecting cut points. Ooh, I'm almost misclicked. Alright, living on top pretty well. Let's see, does this actually go to counting? Did I like pick a really long game? Okay, no I didn't. Sweet. Alright, so black takes that. White defends and threatens to kill. Black's forced to connect. Again, same thing. Black has to kill, otherwise he's toast. Maximizing liberties. The reason to maximize liberties is because this is getting uncomfortable. Not a whole lot of liberties on the left-hand side. Black is making a lot of stones to connect up on the first line, which means he has a lot to throw in, which means there could be a thing. While black extends, white immediately takes because that cut is large. Black says, well, that's fine, you can cut me. I do not care. I'm going to cut you off. So white extends. Can't play the honey, which is also a take, otherwise we're dead. So we're going to extend back, which means black's group there is now dead. So that's a problem. And now what are we going to do? Now what are we going to do? Well, with that group being dead, black decides his best solution right now, given that this is now dead, and this is not quite completely alive yet, and we still kind of have to respond. Yeah, he just resigns. There is nothing for him anymore. So he ends the game. Congratulations, one of Kaji's last wins before he lost to someone. And the tree is alive. Exactly, the tree lived. We got through all of the tree. So yeah, this was one of the games that I was thinking about going over this week, until I saw Lee Sedol's game, which I thought was a little bit better than this one. Yeah, let me know that, and I'll look over the game. If I think it's suitable, then I will. Some games I think aren't suitable for lectures, because not everyone can follow along. Most of the games I choose, I try to ensure that everyone can.